Hello and welcome back to the 2019 Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP Championship. We're back for round 2 of 5 in the Mercedes-Benz Formula Hybrid and 10th round of this season. We're in the Ardennes Forest for the race in Belgium, which of course means it's Spa. My name is Justin Sutton, and joining me as usual, it's Chris Buxton.
Glad to be back as always, and we are in the beautiful Ardennes Forest. Spa-Francorchamps joins us for the beautiful hybrids. It is one of these tracks that is so memorable to so many people. Here are the championship standings. Michael Smidl at the top of the tree by 20 points from Stefanko, so not running away with it as much as he would like, as we previously mentioned, but has still got a comfortable lead there. Polesny, again, further 20 points back, rounding out the top 3 for the VGP1s. Here are the junior standings, so again, Kovacic with a bigger lead than originally thought, with 30 points at the top, but Pavel Reichel, the only other man to break 100 points for the Acer team, and then very closely fought, really from there down to about 6th or 7th. Very nicely done. The Team Championship Acer quite comfortably ahead of Benzina, but look how close it is. Benzina and Logitech have been locked in that battle for a number of weeks, and really Predator aren't that far behind either. They've got Smarty hot on their heels, RPS and Thrustmaster locked in their battle as well.
So this is what these guys are going to be racing for. One of the few leagues out there where you can get an actual physical prize, and a one-year rental of a brand new Mercedes-Benz CLA class. That is no small prize. That is what Schmidl is going to be gunning for. He's already gotten 1 year with the car. He wants another year with the car. Whereas VGP2, they get a 1-month rental of one of the NGCC models and automatic invitation to the VGP1 category as well.
This is what the beautiful Spa track looks like. One of the longest on the calendar, 7 kilometers long, 19 turns, and a lot of altitude changes. Beautiful sunny weather, 26 degrees track temperature, a nice modest temperature that is. Jan Segura taking the VGP1 driver of the day for Road America. And Taramas currently taking the VGP2 honours for driver of the day as voted by you lovely people. A couple of penalties, Andre Klebitz for Smarty and Wojtek Jelenik for Predator taking a few penalties from last time out. So this is the qualifying order once again. The 2 S's up front, but very closely 4 from 2nd to 5th there for Stefanko, Polesny, Kovacic and Sikora. Wow, and those that didn't make it through to the shootout, they're fairly closely fought as well. So if that's anything to go by, we should have a lovely race ahead of us. The bottom part of the table is still fairly close as well, so yeah, we should be all good for this one.
Really looking forward to this. It's a track that everybody knows like the back of their hand, don't they? It's just, I mean, it's gonna be a fantastic race. We're really looking forward to this one. A lovely for Antoine tribute up there at the top. So fantastic to see that that he is being remembered for this race, and hopefully these 22 drivers will put on a fantastic show that he will be proud of. Kovacic from the lead. That's not exactly right. I do apologize for that, but Schmidl in the Predator. There we go, leading down into the first corner. He's got Stefanko. Oh, there's somebody off at the back there, and oh, that's Polesny as well, making a bit of contact with Stefanko. I think he's just about gotten ahead of him on the run down towards the Rouge. Yes, he has. Polesny takes second in this race. Stefanko's not giving up, though. They're going to be side by side through Eau Rouge, up and over the hill. It looks like a number of cars going a little bit off of the circuit as they make their way up and over Radion. It's 3 wide down the Keppel Straight. The only person I think that's not involved in a battle here, Chris, is actually Smidl.
Oh, and I'm sure he's very happy about it as well. So much jostling going on as you ever imagine on the first lap here at Spa. But my goodness me, we were getting 3 or 4 wide, people going on the grass. Wow, that's determination for you. I fondly remember VTP being here. Oh, my sentence interrupted. Someone is off into the grass as they exited Lake Con. We can't quite see who that was, but someone has fallen all the way down. May well be Kujala. I saw somebody kicking up a lot of... Oh no, it's Hernecki for the advanced team has gone off into the dust. As we watch Stefenko down into 4th position. Pelesny and Blazek having a great start and demoting the Benzina driver down to that position. Lots of jostling going on and Smiddle doing Smiddle things for Predator and starting to build himself a bit of a lead as we are accustomed to seeing him doing. As I was saying, I do remember fondly seeing the Mercedes C9s battle it out here and the incredible fighting we had with those incredible cars here for VGP only a season ago. There is our championship leader, our champion. A little bit of a lock-up coming into the bus stop chicane. He's not going to lose a great deal of time. That is Hlebitz in the smarty car. Bear in mind, he did have a penalty. He's running harder compound tyre than the rest. Interesting, he's on the medium spec tyres. Now, everybody has a mandatory pit stop. They must change which compound they use, so everybody must run 2. Wow, that's somebody that's gone deep into the first turn. Oh, goodness, that's very brave for the Thrustmaster driver. And Kujala in the Forza car then trying to make a move and does indeed go up. Is that Vanashek he was finding it? Oh, no, Vanashek's further down the road. Oh, no, Bibushek that he's demoted. Oh, Corny in a sport car. That is going to be 7. Oh, my goodness, he left. I don't think you could have fit very much in between the rear wing and the diffuser there. That was very, very close, but doesn't look like he's got the move done. Oh, a bit of wheel banging coming on as they go into Le Com. And does Rygo defend it in the ace car? He does. Currently then looking to switch, but well defended from the ace car. Firm affair there. As you've got, that is Frabis has right with them as well, along with David Pichada. Well, it's got quite a few cars actually in that particular part. Kovacic getting quite sideways as they came out of Bruxelles. Loads of fighting going on. This is what we love to see.
Rigel is the cork in the champagne bottle. Oh, as the couple of drivers struggling through Puan there, and that's actually going to put Hlebitz alongside the Avast car. Wow, around the outside for Jan Frabish on Hlebitz. Again, he is on the super soft tires compared to the medium tires of Hlebitz, so it's not too surprising to see that type of move getting done in the early stages of this race, because of course the super softs are going to be holding up pretty well at this point. You can see the entirety of the top 9 are currently running the super soft tires, so Hlebitz is the highest running of the non-super soft runners, and indeed he's actually coming back on Frabish through Blanchimont, and he looks like he might try to go around the outside into the braking zone of the bus stop chicane. That will give him the inside line for the second part of the chicane, but Frabish hangs it around the outside, gets the exit that he needs, maintains the position. But who is this on the left-hand side? The Logitech of Kovacic just sneaks his way through, moves ahead of Hlebitz. That was a very... contact between the two of them. The Logitech car is spun around. The Thrustmaster car, that's Pichada. He's up and over and flipping all around and vibrating, and oh no, that's just a nightmare scenario for those guys. Kovacic does get going the right direction once again, but Pichada is still stationary there. Not good for him.
What a shame. I mean, that was going from an optimistic move from Hlebitz and the Smarty guy. As you mentioned, Justin, he is on the harder tyres, but he was really fighting back very well as he came into the bus stop chicane. That just got really, really scrappy as they came into La Source, and sadly, Pichada in the Thrustmaster car just left stationary there. He's back underway again. That's cost him a colossal amount of time. Here is Connie. There's another incident. That's Jelinek in the Predator car, and the second Predator car that's had a problem up at Lake Com. He's had a few people around him also have problems. Goodness me, once again, a few drivers really struggling to get to grips with these hybrid cars. We saw quite a few incidents. Oh no, Hlebitz. Exactly what we were just talking about. So, the stewards have decided to give a drive-through penalty to Hlebitz for that incident that, caused someone to be, airborne. So, that will make his day that much harder. As Corny still chasing the back. And this is for VTP2 lead as well, bearing in mind 7th overall as Pavel Rigel in the ace car, fending off Corny. Corny's been mainly the one that has top honors in the VTP2, so this is a great drive for Pavel Rigel.
And Hlebets is going to make his way into the pits now, so this race is unfortunately going from bad to worse for him as he currently sits in 8th position for VGP1, 10th position overall. He's obviously going to lose positions to both Kostulik and Thomas Prohaska in the Spurt car, as well as we're on board with Corny in the other Spurt car. Again, this is for the lead of the VGP2 category. They're going to be side by side down the Kemmel Straight and down towards Lake Home. It's all about who could be later on the brakes here. Really, either line can be successful, but indeed the Acer does manage to stay ahead for the meantime. But there's almost nothing in it. Fantastic battle between these two. They really are separating themselves from the rest of the VGP2 field. Are Rigel and Corny. These guys are doing an absolutely fantastic job out there. Oh, as we got a 3 wide moment there for Hlebets, who has just come out of the pits, of course. He's on, it looks like another set of mediums. I think he's just gone in, served the time penalty, and then just come straight back out, rather than having it applied at the end or anything like that. So he's just gone and taken the penalty. He's getting on with it. He's down into 17th position overall. He's in second to last for VGP1 category, only ahead of Lucas Pachata. But he's got no more penalties to think about. He can get on with the job of trying to gain some positions, and it is still a long race still to go. More than 35 minutes plus 1 lap still to go. So great to see Andre Hlebets not giving up yet.
He's probably as angry as he looks in his avatar picture there. Yep. So, yeah, not a great start for the Smarty driver, but we've seen how quick he can be. Just once again, those little inconsistencies are really undoing his performances. It's a great shame to see. However, this lead battle for the VGP2s rages on. Kazanik and Corny still fighting away. Kazani's actually in the Logitech car. Not quite sure where he is. That's Pavel Rigel, I beg your pardon, ahead. The standings are slightly incorrect, I think. Yeah, Kazanik's ahead of them, so that's what I was thinking was going on there. So Corny and Rigel, I think, have swapped round as they've gone through Region Radion. Here we are again with Andre Hlebets in the Smarty guy. He's got, that is Prohaska, Yaroslav Prohaska in the RPS car directly ahead, and then a battling Kovacic and Hartnecki directly ahead of them as well. Oh goodness, he's having a look coming into Eau Rouge. I know your tyres are probably going to be looking pretty good now, but that's okay. Wow. He's waiting. Wow. He's timed that perfectly. He would have got the run up and over Eau Rouge, up and over Radion, and timed that perfectly so he didn't have to get out of the gas. So he carried all that momentum all the way down the Kemmel Straight and then up into 16th position for Hlebets. Very nicely done. And then chasing off after the next warring pair. So, keep an eye on Hlebets. And again, he's on that contra strategy. He started on those medium tyres. Most people going for the soft or super soft by and large. So, yeah, his speed will come good towards the end, but how much damage has been caused by those early issues?
Yeah, without question. He is up into 16th overall, but again, he is still in 10th position for VGP1, and he's got, it looks like at least 6 or 7 seconds between himself and Thomas Prohaska, and then another 1.5 seconds up the road to Kostulik. So, yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle for him. He does have time on his side. We've seen Hlebets with some incredible recovery drives in the past as well, so I'm not discounting him from a solid points finish. It's really unfortunate, though, the season he's had, because he's shown so much potential, so much promise, so much talent and speed. It really seems like he's taken this season, this 2019 Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP season, very seriously. Andre Hlebets is not playing around anymore, and unfortunately, it hasn't gone his way entirely this 2019 season, but when he's been on it, he really has been on it. He's been up to the level of Schmidl and Stefanko. Speaking of which, I have to say, Stefanko's actually dropped off the back of Blazek. I thought we were in for another Blazek defense masterclass here at Spa potentially, with Stefanko being behind him. I was expecting 40 minutes or so of incredible Legion car defense action, but it seems that may not be the case. On the flip side, though, it does seem that Blazek still rather close to the back of Leslie. So, you weren't kidding. That was close between Hlebets and Hartnecki. He does manage to overhaul the Avast car, move himself up into 15th position. That's one fewer car between himself and Thomas Prohaska. So he's slowly but steadily getting, and actually, it's not slowly but steadily. He's actually gaining about a position per lap. So Hlebets is really pushing hard, really on it. Great to see that. He's got 3 cars right ahead of him. It'll, of course, give him that kind of carrot on the stick effect. He's got that motivation, that visual effect of getting closer and closer to the cars ahead of him. He knows what's working, what isn't working. And of course, with Vanashek up ahead in the Legion car and the super soft tires, those will be getting worse and worse with each passing lap. So Chlebets, I think, should be able to get past this Legion car pretty easily.
I would imagine so, and also the VTB2 drivers may not necessarily fight Chlebets too hard.
Right.
Not in the same category, not on the same championship, and there you go. That's an outside manoeuvre coming into Blanchimont.
As you do.
That's no big thing. You're just flying around there at 320 kilometers an hour. Whoop, bit of a lock up there and a bit of contact it looked like from the two ahead of Chlebets. So that is Bušek and Kovacic that are getting very up close and personal.
That's for the
Also
podium.
It is. That's the last of the VTB2 podium spots. Oh, again, someone locking up there. Oh, speaking of the podium spots for VTB2, looking back from Rigel, he's retaken that VTB2 lead at some point. We didn't see that happen, but he's defending with everything he's got. That will be slowing them down, but then they've got quite a gap between themselves and Kovacic, who's in his own battle, as we've just seen. So they're having a great battle up front. But talking about Chlebets' performances, I mean, who can forget his performance in the 190E Evo 2 at Okayama. I mean, my goodness, the boy was alive. Boy, I'm just showing my age. He was absolutely... Oops, and that is Prohaska that's gone a little bit too lively on the loud pedal in the RPS car. That is going to allow... That's Lishko in the Benzina car. Trying to make a move, doesn't quite get it done. Easy on there, Yaroslav. That's, those tyres don't like that many horses being deployed at once. And... I thought the Benzina car was going to have another look then, but he's actually lost a little bit of time as a result of that. But coming back to what I was saying about Chlebets, I mean, his performance was brilliant at Okayama, but again, just those few issues just kept undoing his amazing performances. So hopefully he'll be able to iron those out. Here comes Corny off of Blanchimont. He's forced to the outside for the bus stop chicane. Can he get it done from Pavel Rigel? The impact between the two. No damage done, and that's Jan Frabish in the Avast car behind, but no, Corny still can't get it done.
Incredible stuff. These guys are really getting the elbows out, really pushing hard. Hard but fair. I'd say that contact between the two of them, that's more of a racing incident. You know, I wouldn't apply any sort of penalties or anything like that. I certainly don't think that Rigel would have done that on purpose. We're riding on board with Corny in that Spurt car as he goes up and over the top of Radion, comes onto the Kemmel Straight. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Vanashek coming under attack from Yaroslav Prohaska. Oh, a big lockup for the Legion car, but thankfully the replay studio car going around the outside nice and easily. Meanwhile, Jan Frabish has decided to involve himself in this battle for the lead of the VGP2 race between Rigel and Corny, which this could be beneficial to really either one of them. You know, it's difficult to predict this sort of thing. However, it is possible that the Spurt car could gain an advantage here if Jan Frabish makes the overtake at the right time, or it might go the other way and it might end up working out for Pavel Rigel. So it's difficult to predict how this sort of thing is going to work out, but it opens up opportunities, if nothing else. So that's the main reason that I'm pointing it out, as Vanashek continues to struggle. I'm not sure if he's got damage or something else going on, but Frabish continues to focus on the Acer car of Pavel Rigel just ahead of him. Corny doing a great job of keeping up to the back with him. So essentially what's gonna try to happen here, and I'm explaining to the viewers, not to you, Chris, I know you know, but essentially he's gonna try and follow him through. So when Jan Frabish goes for the overtake on Pavel Rigel, he's gonna try behind Corny is to do the exact same thing. He's a little too far back. Oh, that's into the grass, it looked like, for the Avast car, maybe briefly before getting back onto the circuit and onto the brakes and getting it all slowed down. But yeah, Corny is essentially going to try and follow Frabish through, because Frabish is going to punch a hole there. Oh, is he actually going to make the move on Frabish there? He did get very close into La Sorte. But yeah, he's going to do his best to try and use that Avast car to his advantage to try and get past that Acer car.
Now, see, Pavel Rigel is as the English phrase goes, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place here, as Corny now is making the move back on Frabish in the Avast car. He's lost the momentum. He's backed out of it. He actually let the throttle go and let the Avast car go back ahead. It's not worth Corny fighting Frabish, but Rigel has got a bit of difficulty. Stuck in between a rock and a hard place basically means he damned if he doesn't, damned if he doesn't. If he lets Frabish through, as Herdnacki makes the move on Bušek in the Smarty car, is he going to get that one done before we get to Lake On? No. Well, oops. that got a little bit lively. There looks like there was impact between the two, so Herneke goes through, and that's a spun car as Buchek in this Monte car spins around. That is Stefanko in the Benzina car, and yep, I thought that was going to happen. Herneke straight away getting a penalty for that one. That was sadly just a bit of a overshoot on the brakes and sadly span around the car. But what I was coming on to say here for Pavel Reigl, if he lets Frabish go, that puts him under a lot of pressure from Corny, because Reigl will lose all that all-crucial momentum that's kept Corny behind him. But equally, if he fights Frabish, then you raises the risk of an accident, but equally it slows them down. So that could also give Corny an example. So Reigel's got no choice. He's got to fight Frabish. He wouldn't normally, because again, they're not in the same category, but I think he's going to have to just to keep Corny behind him.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Meanwhile, having a look at Schmidl, who is, as you put it earlier, off doing Schmidl things and just leading the race, looking rather comfortable, you have to say. Having a quick look at Polesny in second position. We haven't seen much of him. Blazek has been there or thereabouts as we go on board with the Legion driver into Lake Home. He's been there or thereabouts. He's keeping him honest, that's for sure, but we haven't seen a ton of side-by-side battling going on as Herneke comes into the pits to serve that penalty straight away. So, yeah, we haven't seen a ton of side-by-side action, really any side-by-side action from Polesny and Blazek. Oh, here we go with Frabish. He does make the overtake around the outside into Lake Home, and here comes the spurt car of Corny. Oh, that's an aggressive defensive maneuver from the Acer driver of Pavel Reigl as he moves over. You can see Corny is just thinking about ways to get past that Acer car up ahead. He nearly, oh, that's a big snap of oversteer. I tell you, Chris, watching these VGP races, oh God, are we actually going to have a side-by-side moment into Pouhon? Okay, I was going to say, that is a scary moment to go side-by-side through Pouhon. But I have to say, of course, we do commentary for other leagues and games and stuff like that. And these Formula Hybrid cars, these Mercedes-Benz Formula Hybrid cars look very twitchy. They seem right on the ragged edge out there. I mean, you can see how quickly they change direction at times, sometimes due to an impact or, something like that, but they're just so twitchy and nervous and right on the limit. And that's kind of what we saw last time out at Road America, and it seems that trend is kind of continuing. It's a very pointy sort of car, and it's just adding that little bit of excitement as a number of drivers are into the pits, and in fact the top 6 are all into the pits, and Corny is going to follow them through. Jan Frabish continues on for another lap, and Pavel Reigl does not pit, so this could work into Corny's favor. He's trying the undercut, or Reigel's trying the overcut. Difficult to know. Oh, as the two Acers are actually going to be very close to one another. Two of the most beautiful cars out there on the circuit are going to be side by side, going through one of the most beautiful corners in the world as well. A bit of contact between the two of them. And I imagine Polesny is probably not super keen about going side-by-side over Radion with his teammate, especially when that is not for a points position. So Frabish does move up into second position, but he's still yet to pit.
Oh, now Reigl has the opportunity to play the team game here. He's got himself in between his teammate and Blazek, so he could try and hold the Legion car back. We've often referred to Blazek as the defensive master, but he's, the last few races we've seen some brilliant offensive moves. Oh, he doesn't want to lose any time. He's going side by side through Pouhon. It's funny you mentioned that last lap. Yep. We saw it possibly happen, then didn't happen. I tensed up. If the drivers didn't, I certainly did. I was like, ooh, that could get nasty. And that's Corny in the sport car. Oh, no, that's going to make a difference to the VGP2. Yeah, bearing in mind, he was fighting for the lead and was in the lead of VGP2 for a while. So that's going to make a bit of a difference there. Oh, no!
Lischka.
That's Lischka in the Benzina car. A little mistake. He's put too many horses down on the rumble strip, and round he went. That's Kostalik. He's got a lot of friends around him at the moment. It's not really what you want at 320 kilometers an hour coming through Blanchimont, and Kostalik, he's just about going to hang on to that. That's, there's Stefanko in the Benzina car. Pavel Reigl, he pulls in. Now, interestingly, the Reigl went for a different strategy to those around him. Frabish as well has tried the overcut, so they've gone later on those starting tyres. Lischka in the second Benzina car is coming as well. After that incident he's just had, that's not really a surprise. But wow, what incredible fighting we're seeing here. You mentioned earlier that these things look lively. Ooh. And Peter Lischka, unfortunately, from that incident we've just seen, has retired his car. A great shame. I think he's really struggled this season, but we've seen other drivers struggle one season and really come on the next.
Yeah, I have to say Hlebets is probably one of the best examples of that, actually. He was more of like a midfield kind of driver, I would say, in previous seasons, and then in 2019 he just, I don't know if he just buckled down or if it's just the cars that we're using this season that are kind of play into his strengths, that sort of thing. It's always difficult to know when you're only a commentator for sim racing. Oh, no way. Another move. Another side-by-side moment into Puan. Very different tires going on between those two cars, so I can't say I'm too surprised by that one, but you know, oh my gosh, talking about improved drivers, Kostulik is actually an even better example of that compared to Hlebets. I still remember when Kostulik first came on the scene, he was getting lapped, and now look at him. He's in the top 5 at the moment. Granted, he hasn't come into the pits yet. Oh, we've lost Korony now, too.
No.
Unbelievable. I can't believe how much attrition we're seeing in this race. Another retirement. That is really surprising to see. As Hlebets goes up the inside this time. It was the outside last time into Blanchimont, but this time he's gone for the inside line because variety is the spice of life, so why not? So the Smarty driver moves himself up into that 5th place position overall. So but I think Hlebets and Kostulik, who happen to be 5th and 6th overall at the moment on their alternate strategies, they are two of the best examples of how you can come back better, stronger, faster the next year.
Indeed. Yeah, we've had more retirements in this race than I think we've seen for about 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, again, meaning no disrespect, because it's quite clear how difficult these things are to drive at the best of times. And, yeah, we saw a lot of attrition last week at Road America. I mean, we had a lot of crashes last week and we didn't have any retirements. I don't believe we did. So it just goes to show how difficult these things are when they are at the ragged edge. Oh, nicely demonstrated there, Mr. Cassidy. Thank you very much for that. Getting the tail out very much on cue in the VCP1 Logitech car, the Logitech pair very close together. I'm surprised actually they haven't swapped round. Voila. Right on cue once again as Kovacic lets Cassidy go. That won't make any difference to.
I didn't know you were team principal at Logitech.
Yeah, neither did I. So it's amazing what you learn in the course of a race. But yeah, I'm surprised and not surprised that we're seeing the attrition rates so high. These things are so difficult. And yeah, exactly. And you've already said how well these guys have improved. These are some incredible drivers. Even those that they're maybe struggling a little bit are still amazing drivers. They've beaten off a lot of people to get to this stage. Let's not lose sight of that. So while some drivers may sort of be languishing at the bottom of the championship table, they're still incredible drivers in their own right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just having a look at Kovacic at the moment, who currently leads the VGP2 category in this race at the moment. He's got a pretty sizable gap as well, too, of about 10 seconds, actually, down to Pavel Reigl in that Acer car. I don't think Kovacic has been into the pits yet, though, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we might still yet to see the Logitech driver come into the pits. Just remind ourselves of what Michael Schmidl's car looks like and what his driving style looks like as he makes his way through corner with no name. And you can see him even using the curbing at the exit there, which has thrown off other people. Oh, he's climbing all over the curbs through Puan at the entrance, at the apex, at the exit. He doesn't care. He's using every inch of the track and then some. But yeah, I have to imagine that was a bit of a strange one for the Logitech drivers. Fancy seeing you here, sort of thing. As they found each other on the circuit. Just under 18 minutes to go in this race, plus 1 lap still to go. And I think still a few people yet to come into the pits, but of course the final pit stops will be shaking out pretty shortly here, probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. We could have some people going in very, very late at the end. Of course, Klebet's still out there on his first set of tires, just as an example. So we still have a few pit stops still to make that will determine the final order, but Michael Schmidl not hanging around. A 142.2 is more than 2 seconds quicker than what Jan Frabisch managed on the previous lap. And it's not like Jan Frabisch is slow. He's actually been pretty quick in this race so far, and it looks like he's going to make quick work of Thomas Prohaska in that VGP1 Spurt car as well. He's going to go to the outside of Blanchimont, and they're going to be side by side through there. Doesn't quite work out for him. He's going to pick up that slipstream though and possibly go to the outside into the bus stop chicane. He does indeed. He's much later on the brakes, and Frabish does indeed gain that position. He's up into 9th overall, 8th in the VGP1 category. So it's been an exciting race though for the Avast cars. I have to say the two Avast cars have been they've been seeing a lot of action.
I'm amazed Jan Frabish slowed that one down, because my goodness, he went steaming into the first stop chicane. He had the confidence in the car. He knew he had the tyres underneath him. As we're now starting to see the medium starters come in, there's not many people still on the medium tyres. There's Kujela, Thomas Prohaska and Lebitz yet to see the pit lane, so that will be the last ones to shake out. And there is indeed Kujela just getting away very smokily from his pit box. I see him down a few positions. There's Thomas Prohaska chasing Jan Frabish as he's recently been demoted into that 10th spot. Right behind them, Pavel Rigel, second in the VGP2 category in the AC car. So it'll be interesting to see if he closes in. Prohaska seems to be struggling a little bit. He is on the medium tyres, and what we believe are, I honestly can't remember. I've lost track so much. There's been so much going on. I think that is his starting tyres. I don't know that. I'm pretty sure no one changed onto the mediums. They went super soft to soft, so I'm pretty sure anyone on medium tyres started on them. As Kujela's come out on the super soft tyres with 15 and a half minutes to go, lighter car. That is absolutely understandable. Goodness gracious, that's close. As that's Pavel Rigel on the struggling Thomas Prohaska. We've lost Corny, we've lost one of the sport cars. We don't want to lose the other one. And now Rigel's going to go for this outside Blanchimont manoeuvre, but he's got the pace. He's got, and he's now traded some tyre paint as well with Thomas Prohaska there, and big locker from the sport car. If he wants to come into the pits, he's going to have to work his way around the ace car. Did he come in or did he continue? He came in. I think yes, he did. The sport car has indeed had enough of those tyres. Clemens has gone a long way on those medium tyres as well. I'm sort of thinking about. It's a little bit of no man's land, 4.5 to 5 seconds in front and behind of Stefanko and Secret respectively. So, I mean, he's going to drop fair way down the order, but he's not under immediate pressure at the moment. Rigel has got, he's got 12 seconds to close down on Kovacic, so he's got a long way to go if he wants to get back into that VGP1 lead battle.
Yeah, he sure does. No doubt about it. So it's a pretty sizable gap at the moment, but we'll see how that comes down. Having a look at Blazek at the moment, he is running he's still not that far behind Polesny. Again, we're not seeing any side-by-side action between the two of them. We're not seeing them duke it out for that second place position. However, he's keeping him honest. Again, Polesny is only just ahead. It's only about a second and a half, 2 seconds at times around the circuit. A 1:43.2 last lap for Polesny. That is a pretty darn quick lap, though, actually, from the Acer driver. So he's doing his absolute best to try and hold on to that second place position, keep himself ahead of the Legion car of Michael Blazek, and he's doing a great job so far with just under 14 minutes plus a lap still to go in this race for round 10 of the 2019 Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP season. Lebitz is into the pits now. He's finally ready to get rid of those medium compound tires. Can only assume that he's going to be going onto a set of the Super Softs for the final stint in this race, and we'll see just how far he's going to drop. I imagine he's going to drop to around Frabish or thereabouts. So, but he will have opportunities, of course, with those softer, fresher tires to make up those positions on circuit. Having a look at the single remaining Spurt car of Thomas Prohaska. He's onto the back of Pichata here this is for 13th position, but this is not, they're in different categories, so that's not actually for points. And Hlebets indeed does come out behind Jan Frabish, it looks like. No, he didn't. No, he is actually ahead. And Kovacic is into the pits as well, too. I suspected that was the case. So Kovacic started on the soft compound tires. He's going onto a set of the Super Softs for the final stint in this race. Rigel regains the lead of this race, which means actually the gap from first to second in VGP2 is even bigger than we initially suspected. It's more like 15 seconds between Rigel and Kovacic, but Kovacic does have the Super Soft tires on. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, he's going to need to really exercise that right foot. He is going to be pushing that one through the firewall to close down that gap, but we will see. Stranger things have happened. Mm-hmm. Let's be quite honest about that. I swear, has Smedel got like 10 gears and 2 Kurz batteries or something? The man is just unstoppable. Every single time I look at the time gap, it's up and up and up and up and up. He's just constantly getting more time in between himself and anybody else, showing us why he's the champion, multiple champion indeed. So, you know, all credit to Smiddle. We very rarely see him because he's just running off into the distance. But we do. It does give us a chance to enjoy great racing from the rest of our field. He's still looking at Bushek and Hertnecki having a scrap for 17th overall. Hlebitz on the back of Frabish, so he was indeed behind the Avast car. And Hlebitz, I think, is on the softer rubber. He is indeed. So he will want to clear Jan Frabish as quickly as possible. Well, he would want to anyway, but him being on the softer, newer rubber wants to get that one done. And there's a sizable gap between Frabish and Kazanik. So Hlebitz will want to be clearing that as soon as he can. He's going to want to do it before he gets to a Rouge. Whoa, it can be done, but you trust in the person you're passing, and that was brilliantly done by both of them. But that does leave Hlebitz open to counter-attack. It's a bit of slipstream then from Frabish. He can't get it done. Look at the traction from Hlebitz. He managed to keep the pace going and keeps the Avast car behind him. Brilliantly done by the smarty car of Andre Hlebitz.
I didn't think that was going to work out, honestly, going side by side into a Rouge like that, as Hertnecki unfortunately retires. That brings us down to just 18 drivers remaining in this race, if I'm not mistaken. Really surprising stuff. As we have a look at Stefanko, that's interesting. Now, why are we looking at Stefanko? He was 0.8 of a second quicker than Blazek last lap. That would explain why we're looking at Stefanko. That gap is coming down for what is the final podium position in this race. So I know I mentioned earlier I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get to see that battling between Blazek and Stefanko, but I may have spoken too soon. We might still yet have an opportunity to watch the Legion car of Michael Blazek defending from Stefanko in the closing stages of this race. 10 minutes to go, plus 1 lap as they make their way through La Source. And let's see, what was it? 43.7 from Blazek, 43.4 from Stefanko. So not quite as much gained, but it was still about another 0.3 of a second that the Benzina driver found on Michael Blazek that last lap.
Yeah, Stefanko's going to need to find more than that with the remaining laps, I reckon, to close in on Blazek. But we know how fast Stefanko is. We know how fast Michael Blazek is as well, but Stefanko does seem to have a bit of a pace advantage over the Legion car at the moment. We will see if it's enough with the time he has left to close in. We always want side-by-side. We're not really too worried who's side-by-side with who, but it would be great to see that amazing defensive prowess from Blazek. We've seen his offensive prowess much more this season, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to put his defensive abilities to work to keep Stefanko behind him. And I was just thinking of this exact battle, actually. Thank you, cameraman, for switching to this one. Sikora and Kazanik. This is for 5th position. The RPS car is going to be under pressure from the Logitech car of Kazanik very, very soon. Well, he probably already is feeling the pressure. With only barely over half a second between the two. The RPS car will know damn well that he's there. Won't feel the need to defend fresh air yet, but just knowing that someone is there can be enough to just take your eye off the ball for that all important moment. You make a mistake at the end of the Kemmel straight at 320 kilometers an hour, and it is explosive. So the pressure will certainly be on Jan Sikora.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be easy for him whatsoever. Having a look at the battle for 9th position. Well, it's not really a battle for 9th position, as of course Kostulik and Pavel Reigl in different categories. But if Kostulik wants to try and catch up to Jan Frabish, he is going to have to clear Pavel Reigl. And I don't expect Pavel Reigl to fight this too hard. If it seems clear to him that Kostulik is faster, and based on the previous lap times, he is by about 0.6 of a second. If it's clear to him that he's faster, he's not going to fight this. He would like to finish ahead of as many VGP1 drivers as he possibly could, because why wouldn't you? You're sharing the same circuit with them, so he's a racing driver. He's a human. He wants to be ahead of as many cars as he can, whether it's for points or not. But yeah, at the same time, he's not going to risk allowing Kovacic to close in, because by the way, Kovacic is getting closer, I think, actually. I don't know if he's actually going to get up to the back of Pavel Reigl before the end of this race. But of course, being on those super soft tires, Kovacic could potentially be a threat.
Possibly. And again, Reigl will be aware of that. So Reigl won't want to lose time defending against someone he's not realistically fighting against. So, Kostulik will need the pace to come past him, and judging by previous lap times, he's certainly got it. But, Reigl's done this before. He knows what he's doing. there is your race leader, in case, again, we have forgotten again who he is. It isn't Polesny, as much as he would love to be. Is Smiddle catching up to anybody? No, this must just feel like a time trial session or a qualifying run or something. He's had no one anywhere near him for ages. Speaking of Polesny, there he is in the beautiful ace car. Oh, that's someone looking at. I think that's Jelinek in the. Oh dear.
Oh,
that it is indeed Jelinek in the other Predator car. So we saw a lock up there. So that's just unfortunately caused the tail to come round. And he's pitched the nose straight into the wall at La Source, so that's made his day even harder. And still Kostalik and Rigel, I won't say doing battle, but they are still close to one another as they come into the bus stop. But also that's help. Oh, that would have been a bit of a worrying moment for both of them. Kostalik and barreling into the bus stop chicane like that. But Kostalik's getting slipstream off of Rigel, so if Kostalik feels that's going to help him catch up with Jan Frabish, for instance, there's about 3 seconds between them. Kostalik may choose to stay there.
Yeah, especially with there's not a ton of time left. There's no championship points to be gained or anything like that. I did want to point out, though, as far as Jelinek is concerned, he does want to definitely just kind of keep going, even after that little struggle at La Source, because despite having that spin and maybe not performing as well as he would have liked to today, he is still in 8th position overall in the VGP2 category. So that is solid points. All he needs to do is just make it to the end, thanks to people like Hurtnecki, Korony, and Lishka not making it to the end of the race. So Jelinek is in still a solid point scoring position, which is going to be fantastic for himself and also for the Predator team as well in the team's championship. So I'm sure Schmidl is going to be happy about Jelinek having that solid drive, making it to the end of the race, picking up those all-important championship points, because who knows, at the end of the season that might mean the difference between winning and losing the team's championship. So continuing to monitor this battle between Sikora and Kazanik. This is for 5th position in the VGP1 category. And Kazanik on the previous lap was about 0.3 of a second quicker than the RPS car ahead of him with Sikora. Let's find out what it is. It's only about 1/10 of a second that lap, because of course, once you catch up to the back of someone, they're going to slow down your progress. So, but it looks here like Kazanik is the quicker of the two drivers. So he's probably going to be keen to try and make this overtake happen as quickly as possible, but without taking too many risks, because of course that's a solid haul of points. He's currently sitting on 8 championship points right now. It's only 2 more championship points up ahead of him in the form of that RPS car. So he's not going to be trying anything too daring, because he doesn't want to lose the 8 points he's already got. But at the same time, it looks good when because top 5s, for example, is a stat that's tracked in VGP. We often see that in the statistics that we'll see before the race weekend is shown. We'll see how many top 5 finishes they have and that sort of thing, and that sort of stuff looks good. So he will be hoping to break into the top 5, but at the same time, he's not going to be rolling the dice on a daring move. He's going to be looking for an open door. Ooh, that's not going to help him. A bit wide there through Puan, a bit switchy at the exit, and it's going to lose him a little bit of time. But yeah, he's not going to be rolling the dice here, Chris. He's going to be looking for an opportunity and then taking it.
Yep, very true. He'll be there to pick up the pieces if the opportunity presents itself. He won't be forcing the issue. He'll be happy to stay where he is. That is Martin Stefanko still chasing the Legion car of Michael Blazek, and Steve's whittling that gap down, but not quickly enough to be making a difference, really. With only 3 minutes 20 plus 1 lap, was about 3 laps-ish to go, I'd have thought. Stefanko's going to really have to find that extra gear that Michael Smiddle seems to have in order to really press on against Blazek, and Blazek knows it. He just needs to keep following his line, maybe pick up the pace a little bit, but again, he doesn't want to risk pushing too hard and throwing his car into the wall and joining our retirees. As we look at, again, Kostany, he's just following the lines that Rigel's giving him. Basically, his tyres may not be at their best. That's, however, a very different story. Kazani coming over Radion, a side-by-side with Sikora with the back marker in the middle. Oh my goodness me, who is that? That's someone trying to get out of the way.
Jelinek, maybe.
Oh my goodness me. Was that Hakkinen, Schumacher, and Zonta? Oh! Wow! Well held, Kazanik. I bet that woke him up. Goodness me. But, that got lively.
Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah, that definitely woke up Kazanik, I think, for sure. But yes, you're exactly right. He almost zonted him which is one of my favorite things is turning Zonta into a verb. But Kazanik, I think that's probably his... There's the other Logitech car of Kovacic. That's from second position. So again, he was trying to close up to the back of Rigel, and it did look like for a while that he was catching up, but just not quite quickly enough to really make that happen. But it looks like he is actually not going to lose any points or positions as a result of that spin through the Lake Home section, or I don't know if it was a spin, but whatever happened to him, I don't think it's going to lose him any points, as he has maintained that position ahead of Yaroslav Prohaska, who, by the way, is on for a podium finish here for RPS, so doing pretty good. In fact, Sikora in the other RPS is in 5th position, so RPS, the replay studio team, is on for a solid result here today. Just under a minute and a half remaining, plus 1 lap. I'm not sure where Michael... Oh, look at that. The cameraman is on point today. I was about to say, I'm not sure where Michael Spittle is on track, but they've gone ahead and answered that question. I think he... Oh, this is going to be right on the limit, isn't it? As far as whether or not he crosses the line before the timer reaches 0. Because, of course, if he crosses the line before the timer reaches 0, that means we have 2 laps to go. But if he doesn't cross the line before the timer, that means there's only 1 lap still to go. So whether or not Michael Schmidl can get to the end of this circuit within 52 seconds will determine that. But I have to say, actually making his way into Curve Paul Frere now, yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's probably 2 laps still to go in this race, which is good news for those guys that are, looking to make the attack, such as Stefanko, because he is within 1 second of Michael Blazek. But Michael Blazek will be, kicking and screaming, saying, no, slow down a little bit. Come on now. Oh, dang it. So that's 2 more laps that he's got to worry about that Benzina car behind him.
Something else I noticed when we were catching up with Kovacic's issue, that's a lot of syllables to squeeze into that sentence, but before that spin, his last lap was a 42.9. Bear in mind, that was Klebitz we're looking at. He just did a 42.8. Schmidl did a 43.4. He was quicker than the leader. So Kovacic, any wonder he unfortunately just overdrove it slightly. He was absolutely flying. So seeing some amazing pace from our VGP2 drivers once again, as we're on board with Klebitz, who has closed down this gap to Kazanik. Then that was quite a number of seconds when he got past Frabich. That's 25 seconds-ish back to Frabich now. Goodness me, that's a long gap that the Smarty car has given himself. So as he now chases Kazanik, Sikora ahead, maybe a little bit far, but we'll see on those very nice super soft tyres. Can Klebitz just keep his cool whilst fighting for... I mean, he still could come home if if everything falls into place for him. He could come home in 5th, and that'd be a brilliant result considering he's had a drive-through penalty.
Oh yeah, that would be a hell of a result for Klebitz if he could manage a top 5. Now, it says plus 1 lap up at the top. We're not on that lap right now with these guys because, of course, Schmidl crossed the line a while ago. So this is still the penultimate lap for Andre Klebitz, as he does get extremely close to the back of that Logitech car through the downhill right-hander into the curve with no name, running a bit wide, using a bit of that curving as well down towards Pouan. He's going to be very, very close to the back, and there is Michael Schmidl, so he's going to cross the line. This is going to be the white flag is out, so final lap of this race. There's the confirmation at the top of the screen. So Andre Klebitz, ideally, I would say here, Chris, what he wants to do is get past Kazanik before the end of this lap, so either into the bus stop chicane, through Blanchimont, something like that. Ooh, I don't know with that exit if he's going to make that happen, but ideally what he would like in an ideal world is to make the overtake on Kazanik before the end of this lap, give him an opportunity to do the same thing to Sikora at the end of the final lap.
Oh, he's going to have the banzai into the bus stop. Here he comes. Whoa, I didn't think he was going to get anywhere near him to be able to make the move, and unfortunately he couldn't make it stick. Is he going to now try into La Source? Yeah, I think what you've just suggested is exactly what's on Klebitz's mind. Is he going to try and dive on the inside of La Source? He had a look, but again, he's too far back. Oops, and a bit of a lock-up there from Kazanik. Unfortunately, Klebitz couldn't capitalise on it, and a bad exit from La Source. That's going to make Klebitz's life that a little bit more difficult to try and claim Kazanik. I think Sikora is safe unless he throws it off the road now.
Agreed.
That was certainly on the cards, but yeah, he just didn't quite go Klebitz's way, but he can still have a crack at Kazanik. He's going to be too far back this time. Kazanik still feeling the need to defend the inside lines, going to put him a little bit off. a little bit out of sync with the apexes coming through Lake Com. He's recovered it quite nicely, keeping Hlebets behind. Has a look on the inside coming into Bruxelles. Can't again get it done. Well defended by the Logitech car. And here is the leader. Well, once again, we've said this once or twice this season.
Oh,
and, oh no! That is Hlebets!
Oh no!
But your winner here in Spa, once again, it's the Predator car of Michael Smiddle. That's, well, we only ever see that. First or sixth is the positions we ever see that picture in. Ironically, he's only finished in those two positions so far this season. Great drive for Polesny. Gonna come home quite some way down the road from Smiddle, but still come home in second place nonetheless. Blazek in third position, Stefanko fourth. I don't think he's going to be very happy about that. He qualified in second. He'd have wanted better than that. Jan Sikora, great result for him in the RPS car. With the issues from Hlebets, he's had the pressure all taken off him. Here he comes, when giving it a big old wiggle. Why not? Kazanik, quite a comfortable finish in the end. And Hlebets probably wants to burn his car by now. Oh, what could have been, but once again, just those inconsistencies affecting him.
Yep, I imagine he is absolutely kicking himself, is Andre Hlebets, but it is Michael Smiddle, as you mentioned, who picks up the win ahead of Polesny and Blazek. I gotta say, possibly Blazek, my driver of the day, because he was chasing after Polesny the entire race, and he was having to think about Martin Stefanko behind. I wouldn't fault anyone for picking Michael Smiddle as driver of the day. Look at that gap, almost 22 seconds. We're looking at like a second a lap or something like that, fastest lap of a 42.2 as well, but Blazek, I think, really did a fantastic job. Looking at the VGP1 standings, Michael Smiddle extends that gap down to Martin Stefanko, 153 to 127. Just 17 points now, though, now down to Polesny after he picks up that second place finish. Another 20 points down to Blazek, and Hlebets falling back even further. He's pretty safe from Sikora behind, but yeah, 22 points to the next guy. He's not going to be happy about that.
Pavel Rigel taking the VGP2 win in the end, 6.5 seconds up from Kovacic. A bit of a closer gap in the VGP2s than the VGP1s, but as far as the top three are concerned. But then look how they spread out. I mean, only 8 of the VGP2s came home, so a lot of attrition that we saw early on. That's how the championship now stands. Kovacic extending that lead over Pavel Rigel. And David Brachada now has got a bit more of a fight on his hands from Kujela. Prohaska still fighting off Bushek, but still plenty of points on the board for the remainder of the season.
Exactly right, and Acer is leading the way at the moment. Quick maths, 52 points between Acer and Logitech, but just 3 points between Logitech and Benzina. They just cannot be separated. Another 15 points down to Predator and Smarty, another 17 points, and then just 13 down to the replay studio, and then 8 down to the next team. But for myself and Chris Buxton and the entire VGP team, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.